All right, so welcome back everyone to another incredible episode of Chat with Dan here. Now for today, what can I say? We have on the show the incredible, the amazing, the badass, the one and only, the legendary status, Arielle. Arielle, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Dan?
Doing fantastic.
That was
And what better? Oh,
oh no, I was just gonna say what an incredible intro. I mean, my goodness, I need you every day of my life.
you deserve it. Let's be honest. And also, what better way to have an incredible, super badass Thursday than to be chatting with someone as badass as you know what I mean?
Come on, come on. I couldn't agree more. I'm so happy that my Thursday includes you in it.
Couldn't agree more. I like it. Now, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow, helps a lot. But also in the description below, you're gonna find all of our real social media. Let's follow her, but also let's discover why she's super badass. Now, without further more, let's jump in. So I want to start this whole conversation by throwing out the first question, which is, what initially drew you to acting in the first place? Was there a specific moment or experience in life that made you realize, you know what, this is it?
I have to say, from the ripe old age of probably 3 years old, I did not. The only way to shut me up as a kid, I was a very demanding child. I don't know how my parents did it, but they did. The only way to shut me up was to sit me in front of a TV until I grew about like the age of 6. And then I really wanted to be a mermaid and I kept seeing it in the movies. And I was like, this is what I want to do until the more movies came out. And then I was like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. And then my parents told me, oh, well, that's acting. And as soon as that word hit me about the age probably of 7, I was already making my own little like short films and I was using my mom's camera or whatever I could use. And ever since then, me and everybody else around me was like, yep, the only thing she wants to do is be in movies. And now here we are, still pursuing it.
There you go. I love it. That's a great start. And tell me, like, back when you were, recently started and making your, yeah, kind of your first steps, let's say, right? What were some of the challenges that you faced when you were making those first steps?
Well, I think the biggest challenge was the fact that where I'm from, it was so not a topic of discussion, and not a topic of discussion as in like, no one knows what acting is or it's like forbidden or anything. It's just like it's so not normalized over there. It's such a far-fetched dream where I'm from. I'm from this tiny, tiny little village where, you know, not regular jobs. What is a regular job to anybody? But like, acting and like being in Hollywood and anything like that was like, oh, people only from the States or from California can do that. So I think the biggest challenge was to really be able to find a way to be like, look, I don't know how, but I'm making this happen. Like everybody, so many people around the world do. And it's like, I don't know how I'm going to find it, but I will. I had a lot of support from everybody. But yeah, it wasn't second nature. So there was nothing filmed out to where I was going. There was no film industry where I'm from. So I think the biggest struggle was I knew that I needed to move farther away from like my family and everybody else around me. But yeah, I would probably say that that would have been the main struggle. I think there was none of that, none of the film industry around me.
I mean, it's incredible, right? That even to this day, we still have like this kind of a stereotype or idea, yeah, idea that when you say that you wanna, wanna work in the arts, either acting, music, there's still this idea that you're not gonna make it. Like instantly they will be tagging you like you're not gonna make it. You need to find something safe, things like that. And I mean, I have met people and I have seen people who have a bunch of qualifications and bachelor, master, even like master in a specific degree and all of that, and they just can't find a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when things like that start to happen, then I started, I get this idea like it's kind of the same possibilities here. I mean, let's face it, kind of a job interview would be working as an audition somehow, you know?
Hmm.
And at the same time, of course, when you get a job, you know that there's gonna be like a stable income, coming here and there. As for a gig, sure you will have like a paycheck, and then you need to move quickly to get to the next edition to get the next role, or if you're lucky enough to get a role in a show, then perhaps you will have like a income here and there. So that is one of the things that still wonders me, like why we still have this idea that if you want to work in the arts, you're gonna be homeless basically when it's basically the same as people who are going for the stable thing, you know?
Hmm. Totally. And don't get me wrong, it's definitely, yeah, it's a difficult industry to break in through. And it's like there's everybody has their different times, and that looks making it or whatever looks very different for everybody. Someone can say making it is starring in a movie with Tom Cruise, and someone making it, it's saying like making their own little independent short film, and that's all they ever wanted to do, right? So it's like it's different for everyone's aspect. But yeah, I completely agree. I think like in this point in my life, I rather feel fulfilled and chase what I've always wanted to do versus like be in a safe zone.
That's the thing here too, because we will see it then that at some point you're gonna hear from people who are regretting, or who are complaining like, oh, I should have go this way, or I should have tried this instead of going this way. And life is too short. The other way, I mean, the other day I was talking about this that life is too short, and why would you be in a place that you're not comfortable to it? Go after what you want to try out, and if somehow it doesn't work out, that's fine. You gave it a shot, and who knows, maybe along the way you're able to discover what actually makes you happy. So it's things like that I kind of yeah, it kind of sucks sometimes that people just will just give up, and they will throw basically most of like a lot of years in a work that somehow they just don't care. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Totally. No, I share the exact same sentiment as you. Yeah, I think you said it kind of perfectly there for
Totally.
sure.
But yeah, and moving on here a little bit. Tell me, so as an actor, you often have to inhabit the lives of various characters. So how do you approach stepping into a new role? But also, what techniques do you use to make the character feel authentic?
The first thing I will do anything if I get sent a script, I'm doing an audition, I'm working on the project, I will always learn my lines first. When I started out acting and when I got my first gig, I was about 14 years old and I was just learning my lines the night before. And now in this point in the game, it's so drastically different because I think it's like one of the main keys to acting is saying maybe things that don't come as authentically to you and listening. So first thing I would do is learn my line. So I'm doing it while folding laundry. I'm making my friends repeat it to me. I'm going on a walk, saying my lines. My neighbors and people think I'm crazy. It just is what it is. But I also think within that question, we're actually so much more similar than we all think. We're all different and unique in our own ways, but it's like, so whatever the case would be, depending on the character, I think I would just try to inhabit things in my daily life that resembles what that person went through. For an example, like if I'm playing someone who's an alcoholic, um, and like what they did with it, like are they someone who reclused themselves in their house and then drank like this? Like I would try to go to an AA meeting. I would try to like change my algorithm on my social media for it to be like things about that topic and that person of what they went through, and like read books on the psychology of whatever it is that I'm dealing with in the movie or the project. Is kind of my techniques. And I think with acting as well, like I think I've heard this from a lot of actors and myself included, like every time you get a new project, I think you feel like you don't know what the hell you're doing every single time. You're like, I completely forgot how to do this. I don't know how to act. I don't know what this is. So I think the process is always kind of changing. So different strokes for different folks kind of thing. But that's usually that's where I'm at right now in that.
Yeah, okay. I'll take it. I mean, I'm starting to figuring out why you're super badass, so this is good. Yeah,
Okay, well, good. It needs to
yeah.
come out in conversations I have. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I mean, at the end, you want to make the character feel authentic as possible, and it's great when you are able to create that because then automatically those who are watching, the character you're representing, at some point you will have like this connection somehow, you know what I mean? And I find that amazing when an actor gets this connection with those who are watching, with the viewers, even though that perhaps they're watching it either on TV or on film, things like that. Have like this chance to connect with so many people at the same time by presenting this character that somehow relates to them. I mean, I find that that's yeah, like so yeah, super amazing basically. You know.
Yeah. I think it's always also finding something that connects me to the character, regardless if I haven't been in those exact shoes. There's a feeling or something that I went through that I know can resemble the same emotions or things that brought out in that character's things that they went through, if that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah. And many actors have rituals or routines to get into character. Tell me what's yours. Do you have like any pre-show ritual or yeah, that basically helps you to get into the right mindset? Like what is your thing here?
Yeah, I would also say that's very situationally and circumstantially based, depending on like what are we playing here? Like if I'm doing a comedy movie, then I'm definitely gonna hang out with my friends that make me laugh the most. And I think inspire me to be I have so many friends that are just like so quick on their feet and just like always have a joke for the next thing. So it's definitely depending on what genre and what story we're telling. I think when I would need to get into a headspace where, now I feel like I've gone through, even at my age of 24, I think I've gone through a multitude of things where I can put in boxes to like open them when I need to. And if we're doing a crying scene, like I would definitely, get into the mindset of like I have a sad playlist songs, that music is something that helps me tremendously. Um, and also different movies and shows. I think like I have my shows where if I want to feel sad and I want a good cry, I know what movie to go see. I know what song to listen to. If I want something to inspire me and to motivate me and to be funny, like I have those things to go through as well. So those are kind of my rituals to get into the right headspace, and also taking time for yourself, like not being afraid to tell others if you're preparing for a big crying scene or you're preparing for a big emotional scene. Like I need my own time in my own box. Like we will be normal when this is over, but this needs to have more focus on it. So yeah, that's what I would say right now.
I like it. And what would you say it's yeah, like your top 10 of favorite artists right now, on the playlist you have, like what is your go-to songs at the moment?
Oh my God. I have so many artists and so many go-to songs. I have to say right now, a big go-to artist of mine is Tyla. Tyla, Normani, Sabrina Carpenter, Madison Beer, Ariana Grande. These are big, big women. My style is also very eclectic. I tend to lean into like I'm very big on pop music, but like right now I just discovered Ethel Cain, and her music is just like these beautiful, haunting, like songs. Again, like what vibe are we going for here? I have vibes for specific, like if we're going out, oh, I'm listening to Tyla, I'm listening to Normani. We're listening to these upbeat songs. If I want to cry, I will lean more into like Gracie Adams and again, Ethel Cain. So like depends on what kind of vibe we're talking about here. But go-to
Okay.
artist for the rest of my life, I say that, I don't know, but for the rest of my life is probably Ariana Grande.
Okay.
She's a top
Cool.
artist of mine.
That's like more badass. You're stepping up
Yes.
here. I'll take it. I'll take it. And tell me, like, yeah, like on the flip side, what's the most bizarre or unexpected thing that ever happened to you, either on stage or on set?
That's an interesting one. I have to say, I've been pretty lucky that like things have not gone too awry when I've done projects. The only thing I can remember when I was on a TV show when I was 14 was that I was the only kid on set at that time. Like everybody was much older than I was. They were all experienced. I had no idea what I was doing. And I think I broke a scene because I did not know that when you were doing a restaurant scene, a scene in public, a dancing scene, that all the other extras don't actually talk. And I was surprised by that. So we're in the middle of the scene and I just stop in the middle of the scene. I'm like, why is no one talking? And they were like, cut, like what's going on? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was just so surprised by how that worked when I was younger. But I have to say, I'm sure I've forgotten lines, and I did a couple of plays here and then. And like when I went to acting school, there was stuff that we needed to do, like theater plays. Um, yeah, most bizarre scene I've ever had to do. I had to do an orgasm face-off
Okay.
for a short film, and that was bizarre, very bizarre.
Yeah, I bet.
Yes. Yes.
You
It
know,
was,
I've heard, for example, that for commercials, sometimes the whole thing that they will make you do tends to be like a little weird sometimes, or awkward somehow. And I think that is like the whole beauty of commercials because, they will put you to do that, to do like those type of stuff. But in a short film, I haven't heard that, so that's on the top now.
yeah, yeah, it was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Funny, but
Uh,
interesting.
yeah, I bet. All right, okay, okay. And acting can be emotionally demanding, right? So how do you maintain a balance between fully immersing yourself and taking care of your mental and emotional well-being at the same time?
Yeah. I think a lot of that equals to the people around me. I've been very, very lucky in my life that like I have just these strong, rich relationships with my family, my friends, and I have these people to always remind me of who I actually am at the end of the day when I'm not feeling myself. And I think it's also like what works for you, no matter what in your regular life. Like there's always ups, there's always downs, there's days that you're not going to feel like yourself. And it's like, what can help? Even though you feel, let's say, you know, a little sad on that day and you're like, I just want to stay in bed all day, but you know that that's not going to get you anywhere. What helps me is seeing people. I'm a very big extrovert. I love seeing people. Reading helps me a lot. Going out and having a workout, going for a walk, that helps me a lot. I think it's just still incorporating those things, even when you're not feeling it, because you know that at the end of the day, after that's being done, you're going to feel so much better. But I have to say, like, nothing is going to do it like talking to my loved ones. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's important, right, to have like that, to have like your circle, like your personal circle, of people who kind of will back you up. And also, at the same time, it's kind of okay to kind of regroup every now and then, be away for a bit so you can get the ideas together, be with friends, family. I mean, those who know that they genuinely care about you.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I completely agree. So, yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's very important.
And, moving on here like a little bit and switching, to totally something random. Here he goes. If you could play any historical figure, fictional character, or you know what, let's go crazy, and even an animal, why not? Who
Mhm.
or what would it be and why?
Oh my God. That is a very interesting question. Oh my God, I feel like so many things pop into my head. If I'm just talking about an animal, I would love to play a dolphin just because I could be in the water all day. And I think that would be beautiful. Or a bird because they're always free. But when you said fictional, not fictional character, when you said historical figure, I mean, two have come to my head because they've always been so, so intriguing to me. And one I would be, if I would ever get the opportunity to play her, it would be the most terrifying thing because so many people have played her and all of them have done such a beautiful job that I don't even know if I would want to touch it. But Princess Diana to me has always been someone who's so incredibly fascinating. I think for that time being in the position that she was in and the amount of fame and people watching her, for going against kind of all odds and like sticking really with her heart. And like you've seen how evolutionary it was during that time, and it still is to this day. Plus, like just as an actor, like it's so fascinating her the way she speaks, the way she moves, like her mannerisms. I think that's so fascinating, and it would be such an interesting headspace to get into because we could not have been like that's a completely different life that she was living. And the other one would probably be Marilyn Monroe. Same kind of answer. I think not only was she seen as this like world famous actress, singer, sex icon, like I think when you really get into it, when she who she was at her core, where it was Norma Jean, like it was just so drastically different from Marilyn. And it's like getting into that. Like I think she was just, oh my God, I'm forever obsessed with her. And I think she's just everything. And again, so iconic still to this day, but it's like it was just so revolutionary at the time. And again, still is.
Yeah.
So women who broke a lot of walls during that time. Hmm.
Okay, I'll take it. So two icons.
Two icons. Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. It's great when we have people like that who somehow get to inspire us. You know what I mean? To get us into this position that s- somehow we want to either achieve more in life or somehow we kind of feel related to what they've been through or something, in their life kind of connects with you and I think it's great when we have people like that because at the same time makes you I mean it shows you that at the end of the day they're just regular people like everyone else, but they had opportunities and things like that that happened to them so they can be in a better in the position that they were. And I think that we should be taking yeah, like putting attention more into people like that, instead of some instead of some influencers that sometimes we will see in which I will be like, why? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I think a lot of people can be, and now in the days of social media, very surface level, which I think it's like, yeah, those women were anything but that. Um, so yeah, I think it's just, I agree with you. I know what you mean on that end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, actors, have to often adapt to different genres or style of performance. So is there a particular genre or style that you haven't experienced yet, but you would love to do that anytime in the near future?
Oh, 1,000%. And that would be horror. I would,
Okay.
I am a huge horror movie fan. Um, and I think, yeah, like it's just such a different ball game because it causes so many people different. I think there's just so many different reactions to that genre compared to all the other genres. Like I feel like you can kind of convince anyone to go see this type of movie, but horror movies are big, like absolutely yes or absolutely no. And I think they're just so fascinating. And like I grew up idolizing Scream and like wanting to play Sidney Prescott and like just any of that. Like I think it's just, yeah, horror is just so cool. And it's like you can make something scary out of nothing
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Like things out of everyday life. I think that's really, I don't know. I think that genre is so fascinating and so cool to me.
And what would you say that are your top five or favorite horror films of all time?
Ooh. I mean, Scream definitely has like the whole Scream franchise definitely has to be on top of there. Um, I'd say Scream, Insidious,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
relating to each other with The Conjuring. Um, what else is in my top five horror movie? Oh my God, the movie, it's more of a thriller, but you could still consider it horror. The movie Hush that
Mm-hmm.
used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on there. I think it's such a fascinating, like it's just such a fascinating horror movie. Um, and there's so many that I'm sure I'm gonna admit. Oh, we could use, I guess, Jaws as a horror movie, or would you consider it a monster?
That is a good
I would,
question. I
I
would
don't
put it
know,
both. I would put it like a little bit of both here and there because I mean somehow it is kind of a horror film, but in this one it's an animal.
but I would also say A Quiet Place is
Okay.
very recent years. It's also very like borderline thriller. Um, but yeah, A Quiet Place, I think is so genius because it's stuff that it's these aspects that make you afraid of things of everyday life, as in like A Quiet Place makes you terrified of sounds. Like I came out of that movie scared to turn on the faucet because I was like, oh my God, something's gonna come get me. There's no way. I think coming out of a movie to make you feel that way is one of
Mm.
the coolest ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, Quiet Place was a really good one. I did watch it as well, and yeah, that had something, even though, it was interesting because it doesn't have much of sounds, so you know what I mean, as a regular horror one. But
Mhm.
whenever they got like those really scene, I mean, yeah, like they were able to get this really intense scenes, So yeah, I'll
Yeah,
take it. That's
so
like
cool.
even
Like,
more badass.
just keep gassing me up. My goodness. My
You're
goodness.
killing it here. You're killing it here. I love it. And
Thank you.
if you were in a stranded island and could only bring three movies to watch for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Dan, here you are asking me these impossible questions. Jeez. Um, okay, I feel like if I'm stranded on a deserted island, I feel like I need three movies that like kind of give me different feelings.
Hmm.
I'll go back with like a childhood one where I feel like I need to bring like Aquamarine or like Hannah Montana the movie where I that's a childhood movie where like I can't and I've never been bored of. That just brings me so much joy so that I would not feel as depressed being deserted on a deserted island. Um, I would have to say also something to motivate me, where I would probably pick Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander, the Lara Croft movie. Um, First of all, I'm a fan of the character in general. I'm a huge fan of Lara Croft. I love that movie and I love Alicia Vikander, but they are on a deserted island during that time. And she's just a badass that figures her way out of it. So that would just keep motivating me to tackle anything that would come up to me. And a movie that would just keep me in my feels. I would have
Mm.
to say, Call Me by Your Name. I think
So we
that's one of the beautiful movies ever done.
so we have a mix between action,
Action, uh,
drama, kind of drama going on, kind of not really.
action, definitely drama with Call Me by Your Name. And then like comedy and lightheartedness with Aquamarine or Hannah Montana the movie. Yeah,
Okay.
I have to say that.
Interesting mix.
It's
No, no, yeah, but I mean, it makes sense because as you were saying, I mean, you need to be able to kind of balance between emotions,
right.
because
I
if
feel like,
you're, yeah,
yeah, I think it would be a roller coaster of emotions being deserted on an island. So it's like, what are we feeling here? Totally.
totally, yeah. Okay, I'll take it for sure. I'll take it. And what about if your life was turned into a movie? Which actor would you want to play you and why?
Have you ever thought about that question? Like, were a movie be made about you? Do you know who you think would play you?
Oof.
Right? Is that not is that not an interesting thought? I'm like, because now that you're saying that, like, if we're playing my, like someone to play me for my life movie, that means it's not who exactly I am today. They need to play the other versions of me, right? Because we're always changing.
Mhm.
Oh, God. I'd have to say right now, like someone that comes to mind to play me for multiple eras of my life, I would have to say, like, do you know who Melissa Barrera is?
I think
She
I
was,
did.
yeah, she was in Scream, in the new Screams. She was recently in Abigail. She was in The Heights. Um,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I know who
I'm
she is.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she's from Mexico. Um, I think
Yeah.
I could,
Yeah, she
but
is.
but I'd have to say like her in Scream, and Scream 6 reminds me of like me when I was like 21. I think she could definitely play me, but I don't know. That's such an interesting question. I was like, Her, or like maybe Madeline Klein from Outer Banks.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see her having that. I don't know. None of these ladies look like me necessarily. I don't think we look, I mean, I wish I looked like those ladies, but like I don't think, yeah, just like in general, the whole vibe. But I would probably say like Melissa Barrera, Emma Roberts. I don't know. A couple of people. But yeah, I feel like Melissa Barrera is the first one that just came to mind because she has that dynamic. Maybe also because I just recently watched Scream 6 again. So that's who the first person that came into my mind. But I feel like she has that dynamic that I could see in younger Arielle that was like very much, yeah, very different from who I am today.
Okay. So in
Mhm.
that case, we will need like a couple of yeah, in that case, we will need like a couple of actresses so we can have like a beginning story, moving on to a little bit of a teenage time to when you're first like growing up, getting old, like, you know what I mean? Something like that.
You get me 110%.
That would be, I mean, for sure, that would be like an interesting film to watch. And tell me, what do you think that would be the title for that one?
Ooh, the title of my movie? Oh my God. Eventually. I think it would be titled
That's
Eventually.
deep, that's deep going on.
Deep. Yeah, I'm a deep person. I would say eventually, because eventually you'll find yourself. Eventually everything will work out. I think everything happens in due time, whatever that looks like. And I think it's just to keep reminding yourself of that. So I think, yeah, I also have that tattooed on me. I think it's like the most beautiful way of like keeping me going. Like eventually it's gonna just all work out.
Yeah. Okay. And how would you rate it? Would it be like a rated R or how would you rate that one?
Oh, it would definitely be rated R.
Okay.
I have to say. Yeah, it would definitely be rated R just because I curse like nobody else's business. I'm better now, but I used to like, I just grew up saying all the swear words ever. So right there, it has to be up. And then, yeah, probably rated R. There's many decisions I've made in my life thus, thus far, so that everything can kind of be in there, I would
Okay.
think.
Okay. So no kids for this film for sure.
Um, Maybe not watch it with your parents. I don't know. I don't know. I would not go too gruesome or like too explicit or anything, but like I would keep the truth in there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have to say rated R just in case that we do want to push the boundaries. You know what I mean?
That's the thing here. I think when you manage to kind of push a little bit the boundaries here and there, it's when you get and you can actually somehow make people. I mean, I wouldn't say make them feel awkward, but make them feel strange. I think
Mm.
that is when you actually get something big going on here, or absolutely like the people will get hooked to it. You know what I mean?
Yep,
It's like those type of
totally.
stories that they're raw, but there's like a good side to it, and somehow like between the lines or something about that kind of connects you, and you kind of yeah, I like it. You know what? At some point, let's make that film. That would be interesting.
Yeah, we'll start writing it now, Dan. I'm
Sounds like a
down.
plan. All right, let's make it. And acting often involves, like vulnerability and putting yourself out there, right? So how do you handle criticism and rejection in such a competitive industry?
Um, yeah, I think that's something that's still an everyday battle. I think it's gonna maybe be an everyday battle for the rest of my life. I think I'm at a better position with it every single day. I think rejection is redirection. I know it's a line that a lot of people say, but I think the line is cheesy for a reason. I think it's because it's so true that like often when the door doesn't open, it's because another one is waiting to open that's so much better and it is truly meant for you. Again, everything that's meant for you will find you in due time. And I think it's like something, especially in the movie industry, it can be such a little thing. You could be perfect for the role. They hired your co-star. Let's say he's 5'6", and they need someone 5'4", and I'm 5'9". So there's no, do you know what I mean? Like there's little things like that, that it's like they could be wanting a gorgeous blue-eyed girl, and it's like I'm over here coming in with brown eyes. Like there's little things like that, that it's just like, it's not personal. I think at the end of the day, it's like you can't take any of these things too personally, um, because it's not. And again, knowing in your heart that it will work out eventually, the right project and the right moment will find you. And I think you have to keep reminding yourself, don't get me wrong, there's still days that, it hits harder than others. You feel a little bit, like your skin is a little less thick. But yeah, it's to remind yourself of that, right? Like everybody can have a seat at the table because everyone offers something differently. And it's like there's no point in being jealous or this or that, or being, pissed that you didn't get a role, or like that this person got a chance and because your part and your moment will find you, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, whenever you get the chance, I mean, when you think like that, it kind of things will be like a lot like a lot smoother, especially when you have like those kind of yeah, like difficult or um yeah, like very difficult moments when you get the chance to kind of change your mindset like a little bit, tends to get like a little more smooth, and it can actually make you feel better somehow, or you can get the chance like to learn from it. You know what I mean? Like from every kind of rejection or criticism. I mean, sometimes it depends where that criticism comes from. If it actually comes uh, from um from kind of a positive feedback, to actually help you to it, then sure take it. But when you know that comes from people who are just hating stuff because, you know, that's when you shouldn't pay attention at all, because like usually I have discovered like usually those type of critics is from people, it's from people who are not doing anything with their lives basically, and they somehow feel jealous, or they somehow feel like yeah, like jealous about it. But at the end what I say is, if you feel jealous, then go after it, do it.
It, I think I think then if you're jealous about it, exactly like you said, there's something that means that's an indication that you're craving something that you don't have, that person has. So it's like, exactly like you said, go for it. But like if anyone's leaving a mean comment or anyone's doing this, it's like, again, that person is probably going through so much more, and they're taking it out on whatever they see, and you might just be the target. I think, like, I've never gone once, and I've never seen a video, I've never seen like a post or something that's made me be like, let me say, you look ugly today. Like, for what reason? Like, there's no impulse in that. Like, I would never want to put out negativity like that in anything, I think. And it's like, if people do that to you, again, they're miserable in their own mind, clearly.
Yeah, I mean, total. I mean, I still don't. I mean, I don't get it. Why we should take? Why would you? Why would you? Yeah, kind of exploit. Well, maybe like not exploit, but my point here is, why would you release all of your traumas and anger and all of that to someone who you don't even know? You know what I mean? To someone that perhaps did a movie that you didn't like, or perhaps they said something that you didn't like. I mean, I think that also comes with tolerance, to be like, I disagree with what they say or what they do, but hey, it's their life. They're not affecting me. So, you know what I mean?
100, right?
Instead of wasting my time on actually go after the person and say like a lot of mean things. I mean, the fact that you are spending your precious time, because time is super valuable, you're using your time to say things to someone that maybe they're not gonna even care about it, you know? I think that is a problem that we as a society have right now. The fact that we are somehow we feel that we are entitled to say whatever we want. And yes, somehow that kind of makes sense, but it depends where are you coming from to say those things. You know what I mean?
I completely, yeah, you couldn't have said it better right there. I think it's completely accurate. 100%. Time is very valuable, so there's no point in putting out negativity like that. And it's okay if you don't like something as well. Like, There's multiple friends that I have that don't like the same movies that I like, that don't like the same style that I like, that don't, that's okay. That's what makes the world go round. But it doesn't mean that like just because my friend likes the color purple and I like the color blue, that I'm gonna hate on her for liking the color purple. Amazing. I love that that works out for you. It wouldn't be my first choice. I love the color purple, by the way. I'm just saying that as an example. But yeah, it's completely subjective. So I
Yeah.
agree. You said
Yeah, like just live and enjoy. I mean, enjoy life basically, you know?
exactly.
There you go. I
Exactly.
like it.
Exactly.
And tell me, let's say that one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an actor. Now here's the thing. So your
Mhm.
experience. So based on what you know, what do you think? Like, where do you think it would, yeah, like where do you think it would be a good place for me to start?
Um, mm. The first question I think I would ask you is why do you want to be an actor? Just out of curiosity. Um, because I think at the big, everyone has different reasons for doing it, regardless of what that is. I would just be curious to see where it comes from. I think like for a while when I was younger, I wanted to be in these big, big budget movies and I wanted to do it for the attention and the this and the that until I took a huge break from it. And I realized that that was not the reason at all that I was actually doing it. I think it's the only thing that had filled my soul and I was a storyteller. But I would say go for it. I would also say start making anything out of nothing. Like, don't wait. Because when I was growing up and I didn't have things accessible to me, I didn't have agents, I didn't know where to start. So what did I do? I got my own camera and I started writing my own things and I started putting my things together to fill my cup. And then that came with like my high school wanted me to do something, me to do a short film for them. This happened and this was happening. And then you find your groove within it. Um, and then, whatever you want to do, like certain programs, go to school for it, take online classes. Now, a lot of more things are accessible with um, with social media and with the internet, obviously. Um, it's definitely a different time than when I was growing up. So I think there's a lot of that. But yeah, I would say like the biggest research that an actor can do is doing the thing, is like nothing will teach you more than like being on set or making your own projects, right? So I love to listen to actors talk about their projects. I love seeing behind the scenes. I think it's like, and keep just keep searching. And by searching, I mean like keep reading books, keep watching movies, keep watching TV shows, like keep telling stories. Because essentially that's what acting is. It's telling someone's story. So that's what I would say.
I love it. That's like, I mean, you went to the roof of the whole badass level here.
Well, I was waiting for the punchline, of course. I needed to wait for the final moment, but yeah, yeah, yeah.
Totally. I mean, I tell you what, if I become an actor, and if at some point I win something, I'll be mentioning you in my thank you speech for sure.
And that's all I ever wanted. See, that's my version of I made it.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell you what, I will even be telling you, you know what, you need to also say a few words here. You know, I
Oh,
can't I can't take this trophy all by myself, you know.
Dan, stop. That is too much. I actually can't handle it. That's all I would want. Again, I'd be like, I didn't do anything, but this is my I made it moment.
There you go. There you go. Preach here. I love it. And
Yes.
you know, like what motivates you? You know, we all have those days that basically we just want to quit. It's inevitable, happens to all of us. So
Mhm.
how you manage to keep yourself positive in a day or in a moment that perhaps you're not feeling too well, let's say, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I think those moments are tough. I think I've been through my fair share of those. I think I know my friends have been through my fair share of those. I think it's finding what, like on a positive day, what did you do that brought you that much joy or that much, clarity and that much empathy for people, right? Like I think, like I kind of said in a previous in the beginning of this interview, like I think it's finding what works for you. Like I've realized that like I love to do spin. And coming out of a spin class motivates me like nobody else's business. Listening to badass music and dancing around motivates me. Watching a comfort movie of mine or a comfort show of mine just reminds me of that time. Or again, talking to loved ones. I think it's finding whatever it is in your routine that makes you that slowly brings you back to it, even if you're not feeling like doing it. Um, I love getting up and early and working out in the morning and then going to get my coffee and then talking to a friend on the phone and then reading a nice book, right? And then there's some days that I've woken up and I'm like, I don't want to do any of that stuff, like at all. I want to sit in bed and I want to do nothing and I want to order Uber Eats at the door and just do that. But I know that at the end of the day, and I'm speaking for myself, I love being productive, and when I'm not productive, that's when I'm the hardest on myself. So I try to set those intentions and those things up regardless if I feel like doing it or not, and then once it's in your routine, you're automatically kind of doing it, and then it kind of slowly starts building you back up, right? It's like Rihanna says, oh no, Rihanna says, girl, you need to, like, she just gets up and pretends, like, kind of fakes it till you make it in a way.
Mhm.
So I think that that's a good quote. Megan the Stallion said it better. You need to go back to bed and say, I am that girl, right? And then you believe that you are that girl. Everything, your brain believes whatever you tell it. So keep telling it positive things. It's again, it's harder on most days. I'm not saying it's like I'm a perfect human, but um yeah, that's my kind of like 2 cents of advice.
Totally. I mean, we are at the end of the day, we're just humans, and we all have. I mean, it's easier said than done to be optimistic, and positive. We all have those moments, and it's okay. I start to discover that whenever you have like those moments, enjoy, I mean, enjoy them somehow. You know what I mean? I mean, if you feel like this depression thing going on, take it, and then get back up. Don't try to suppress that emotion. Take it out, explore it.
Yeah.
Actually put it like in front of you, and then take a time to kind of get back up on your feet and keep on moving. I think also that is important into like to apply to just say that I'm having one of those days. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
step back for a while, but I'll be back. So
Mhm. 100%, 100%. And
yeah,
trust that you will be back, right? That's the main thing. I think knowing that you will be back to being okay and to being your normally positive and happy yourself, like it's okay to feel the blues and to feel different
totally,
kinds of emotions days.
totally, totally. And my last question, so we can all enjoy and relax after a couple of yeah, amazing questions and an epic badass chat. Just saying. So here it is. What do you think that would be the best title for this episode?
I think it would be everything, comma, in time.
Everything in time.
Everything in time. I think everything happens in the right time and in due time. Um, and yeah, this, regardless of what it is, in every single aspect in your career, in your job, in your relationship, and your workout style, in your reading journey, in whatever it is, like everything will find its way to you in the right time. And especially since we're talking about, you know, my career as an actress, I think it's like I thought so many times that it was my time. I thought when I went to school at 18 that I was going to start projects right away. And funny enough, I think only now at 24 where I feel like I couldn't have been an actress before this time because I've lived so much experience during those years that has now given me the tools to finally be able to do what I want to do authentically.
Mm,
So everything in time.
there you go.
There we go.
I mean, at the end, what can I say? You're killing it here, basically, and it's amazing the fact that you're pursuing it. That you are go after what you want. That is super. I mean, we all know that going after something you are really passionate about tends to be like a bumpy ride on it, and sometimes will be a huge pain in the butt. but you're making it happen. You're showing results, and that is like the most awesome part, that you are showing us that hey, it is possible. But of course, there's a lot of hard work going on that maybe we don't know, maybe we don't know about it, but you are keep doing it, and yeah, that's super cool.
Thank you. I really appreciate you saying that, Dan. Thank you.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I do want to thank also those who stayed, those who stayed the whole episode. Let us know what you think in the comments below. But also, since we discovered why Arielle is super badass, now let's make her viral. Hashtag Team Arielle. And again, thank you for making this happen. Keep rocking out there. Keep shining. Keep doing what you do. Keep being super badass, of course. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dan.